Alright, ladies and gentlemen, my guesses are terrible. We have arrived for the penultimate round here in the ARC Formula 1 Season 11 Championship. That was so backwards. Presented by DIVEBOMB. And it is the Australian Grand Prix this week. I thought it was the Brazilian Grand Prix. That is next week as the finale. It doesn't help that the schedule was moved around a bunch because of some typing errors on our great admin's part, so I blame him. But at any rate, it is the Australian Grand Prix. It's the best we've ever had, but I think we've had smaller this season at the very least. 14 at the moment. You're watching from an unusual camera. The first qualifying lap is, well, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer was the first one to start his, so he will be the first one to end his. And so I just had the camera on him while the stream got underway. Rounding the last turn, the first lap of the session is going to be 1932 from the Haas driver. We have one new driver in this week's event, Boriyoshi, filling in the AlphaTauri. He's actually, we're gonna see what his first lap looks like since he's about to finish it. I don't know what that car was back there, just about gets out of the way. Not bad, an 18.8 puts him top of the charts provisionally. Other laps, Luke Allen ran in 1941, Scarborough ran in 1943, noticeably on medium tires though. Dylan Thomas with 20.2. They did it with a 20.58, there must have been a mistake in there. Unfortunately, all the really good drivers have already started their laps, so I don't really know who to watch for the track guide that I always do. Honestly, that just exists to fill the void in qualifying. I'm not exactly required to do it, but it's just something to make sure I keep talking throughout the session. We're right on board here with Ryan Phillips. He's about to reach the start-finish, so never mind, he's not. He's out of the way for Nico Pichet, who's coming through on his actual lap. Does the same as well for Dylan Thomas, despite him not being on a lap. Obviously, Phillips doesn't know that. While your rear tires are plenty heated up for the full lap, if there's any consolation to be had here. And, of course, Nico Pichet dusts everyone and runs a 17.4. So, assuming we don't have any unfortunate spins, here comes Ryan Phillips to begin his line lap. Turn 1 and 2 is a very tight chicane. It's very easy to run off wide at the outside of 1. Turn 3 is a standard hairpin. If you're going to have any overtakes in this Grand Prix, it's going to be there. Turn 4 is a weird, almost off-camber corner to the parking lot. Turn 5 is a flat-out monstrosity. Outside curb can easily end your race. The reformatted Turn 7-8 complex is not much faster. Leads us onto the back, not so straight away. Not a DRS zone, though, which makes passing to 11 and 12, this high-speed death chicane, even harder than it normally is. Here's the other potential overtaking spot, but it comes with a lot of risks. Another reformatted corner to make basically a 90-degree turn. And the final 3 corners are just sweepers of varying speed, so this is more of a hairpin, but you still can't pass into it. And then the last turn is half throttle, despite looking full throttle. And that concludes a lap of the Australian Grand Prix circuit. 1944 puts Phillips kind of in the lower mid part of the field, really. What the Williams drivers abandoned their laps. Still never got a name for Clay here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, no, I don't think his name is Clay Monkey. Just a guess. That's what he put in the... That's what he put in the Discord, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that that is incorrect. Like, yeah, it's a rule in ARC, you need to have your first and last name when you register, but your last name can be fake if you are insecure about that. As Fidel Fabian runs an 18.98, reserving in the Red Bull. Knickel improved to a 19 flat. However, I do believe that the name still has to be somewhat realistic. It doesn't have to be your actual last name, but something that looks vaguely like a last name, as the debuting AlphaTauri reserve heads up to the start-finish to begin his second qualifying run. Right on the limit of 1, that's for sure. Well, I mean, I guess that's where you want to be. I've said it many times, your overall pace in the F1 games is determined to half by your setup and half by how close you can get to exceeding track limits without exceeding track limits. And he is getting very close to exceeding track limits, but he's not exceeding them. This has been quite rapid. I don't know if it's really necessarily going to compete with Nico's lap, but it shouldn't be too far off. It wasn't the best hairpin. It's like a half hairpin. Up to the final braking zone. And up to the last turn. Let's see what the AlphaTauri reserve can pull off here. Not beating Piquet, but getting closer. 18-18. So, 7/10 off. And of course now Piquet is on an outlap of his own, so in due time, in about, I'd say roughly 2 minutes or so from now, he'll probably run a 17 flat and make everybody look stupid, because he's very good at doing that. There are about 7 people who can win this Grand Prix, and 4 of them are Nicolas Piquet. I think I made that joke before, but that's just... it bears repeating just how utterly dominant his season has been, that he's probably he's on course to take the championship despite missing the first third of the season. He joined ARC at like race 5 or something, and he managed to make up the gap of points created by his teammate and then surpass him in points. In the background, Jurgensmeyer improved to an 18.7, Clay to an 18.81, now Hausmy ran an 18.9, I'm thinking there's still more pace in him than that. And that's a purple sector 1. I didn't actually see what the time was. Mikey De Jong with an 18 flat, still over half a second off the mark of Piquet, and he's going faster right now. He might hit traffic. I think that would be AJ Nickel up there. Oh, it's both Alpines. Alright, well that takes the guesswork out. Yeah, one's on a lap though, so this is Luke Allen, he's behind. So this has just ended Piquet's attempt here, as he's just come up to the back of him, on an in-lap no less. But that was an in-lap, why didn't he get out of the way? I think Pichet has a case made for lap obstruction there because he was on his way into the pits. Anyway, Francis Farin makes a 1843. I hope no one's running a 14 here. Brazil's next week. Not that 14 would be any good there, but that's not the point. Improvement, but no gain for Ryan Phillips. 7 thousandths off Scarborough, who's ran his lap on mediums. He's coming up to the line now to start his actual lap on soft tires. He's taking the sandbags out. Now it's time to actually go for it. Well, at least he's out of the way. Whoa, my word. Yep, there's the turn 5 nightmare I was referring to earlier. Nearly caught Jake all the way off guard and ended his session right then and there. I don't know how this car got stopped for that. I thought he totally blew that braking point, I'm not gonna lie. Into the last 2 corners, and for Jake Scarborough's for reals lap. It's not gonna be much of an improvement, actually. Never mind, it totally is. It's an 1847. Almost gains a whole second, but only gains like 3 places. This is a really close qualifying for the most part, especially when compared to what we've historically seen in AF1 qualifying sessions. Then when Thomas passes the start-finish, hoping to close that gap himself to get within, within striking range of the rest of the field right now, since he's 8 tenths off the next car. Julius Duku is also way off pace of 40.1. I think he ran that on, like... he ran that on... Uh-oh, well, he's not going to close any gap doing that. He just closed the gap between himself and the grave, maybe. Now there's that turn 5 nightmare, as foretold in the prophecy of the commentator. Now Hazmi's definitely got more pace in his car. I think the Sector 2 split showed that pretty well. Almost flirted with track limits on exit there. Not quite Pichet, but right up behind his teammate, only a 10th off of him. Pichet's on the road again, as is Boryoshi, who has invalidated his lap, but he has time to make another run if he desires. In the background again, Jurgensmeyer improved to an 18.28. I didn't see that. Is AJ going for a second round? He is. Francis has hooked that curb again. I say again, he didn't hook it before, somebody else, but somebody else has hooked it nonetheless, and that is his session over. AJ has just missed turn 2. Everyone's pushing their cars to their literal limits and pushing track limits just as far. Bichet will still get another chance. There's a minute left in the session as he rounds the last turn. I don't really know if he needs to improve his lap time any, but I mean, I guess you might as well do it. If nothing else, just flex your big drive shaft energy with an even faster lap time than you already had. Like a 17.4 isn't already groundbreaking enough. Mikey De Jong is also on the track. And Boryoshi is... He was also able to get a second run in since, you know, he left the pits early, but this is another outlap, I think. Or he's just given up. Yeah, he's just done. Jurgensmeyer will be the last person to begin a lap, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, he'll cross the line just barely enough time to start the lap. Very close with track limits there. So first up will be Nico Pichet. Let's see if he can improve that 17.48. My nose is having a laugh at the moment. A lot of curb on exit. He's sputtering and he still runs a 17.2. Oh my god. He sputtered at the line and still gained 2.5 tenths. This man is not a human being. I refuse to accept. De Jong is up on Sector 2, but not a whole lot. He needs to gain a heck of a lot more than 3/100ths to steal pole. Francis Farin runs an 18 flat as well. So now he just wants to probably get back on the front row, if nothing else. Out of the final turn for the Williams, and it is not toppling Pichet, but it is taking P2 back from Francis. Jurgensmeyer is in the grass. And wow. Julius improves to an 18.6. I found the skill gap, it's right at 11th. And there is your qualifying session for the GP. Probably one of the closest qualifying sessions that we've had, period. With, well, if you ignore the bottom three and Nicolas Pichet, everyone was within 8 tenths. Second to 11th, just 8 tenths apart. But the whole field split is 3 seconds because Dylan Thomas wrecked on his final run and Nicolas Pichet is an alien. Excuse me, my sinus decides to be a little funny on me. Ignore that. Need a drink to make sure my throat doesn't want to end me by lap 20. I'll probably take another drink if we get an early safety car, so be ready for that. Try to get to the mute button in time, but no guarantees. Alrighty, let's see here. As the formation lap begins underway. Wow, me. What am I doing? Through the starting grid here. The ALA, Nico Pichet is on pole, followed by Mikey De Jong, Francis far end. Abdurrahman Al-Hazmi, who I didn't see him run that lap time, but he got to P4. Boriyoshi debuting AlphaTauri Reserve. Clay in P6, 7th. Jonathan Jorgensmeyer. Fidel Fabian P8. Eja Kinnickel P9. Jake Scarborough P10. Julius Dooku P11. Luke Allen P12. Ryan Phillips 13th. And Dylan Thomas rounds out the grid after his qualifying DNF. A bit of a mixed bag of compounds starting compounds here. Half the field about is on mediums, including 5th through P8, as well as Nico Piche. 2nd through 4th, as well as Duluku, are on hards, and both Alpines and Ryan Phillips are starting on the soft tires. No doubt hoping for an early safety car, which, as ever in AutoRacingConnected, that's not the worst bet you can make. Certainly not betting on 00 by any means. As everyone makes their, as everyone now everyone now begins to play Parking Panic and attempt to not get disqualified and ratioed on stream. Looks like just about everyone might have gotten their parking spot. That's impressive. The 5 red lights are lit, and the Australian Grand Prix is away! Why am I saying that like it's Superman or something? Can't see a darn thing! There we go. Piche crushes it off the line, and I think they were almost 3 wide on entry there. Eja Kinnickel with a rocket start and fizzled out early as he was squeezed off the track by, I think it was Al-Hazmi. I don't really know if, I mean, I'll see that later as the steward. I don't really know what to say on that because I couldn't really tell what was going on. Jake Scarborough and Luke Allen with hole shot starts, to say the least. Luke Allen up 5 places off the grid. Scarborough looking to make himself up to 5th place over AlphaTauri driver Boriyoshi. He's got the inside, he's got the car ahead, and he will do it. Oh no, he will not do it. Keep it off the wall. Well, okay. He did a little too much. I don't know if he took damage. I don't see any debris lying around, so... Unless I saw debris at the last second there. And Luke Allen has run off. My word. All of the good starts got everybody just nowhere. Now the best start goes to Dylan Thomas, who's up 4 at the end of the first lap. Oh, that was a miss from Dooku. Oh, hold on to it. Solid save. Fidel's going to try around the outside of the AlphaTauri to make him pay for that. Ooh, not a lot of real estate, but an oh, no, he's not done. They make wheel-to-wheel contact. And Dooku survives for the moment, but Fidel comes right back at him on the exit of 5. Finally, the move is completed for Fidel Fabian, but it took almost a whole lap to get it done just about. Hell of a battle for P8. And speaking of Red Bull, Ryan Phillips just going to easily out-drag Dylan Thomas into 11. Or is that 10 now? I'm not even sure. I should really have a track map next to me or something. Running up to the back of Dooku, but cannot find enough speed to try and overtake. And now the fun begins because DRS is about to be in play. And I do believe that we'll get our first taste into turn 3. Oh my god. Ryan Phillips almost got a taste of AlphaTauri diffuser there. There's another yellow. Jake Scarborough is around again. Okay, no, we don't have DRS yet. That's just that's a proximity trigger. That's, as Ryan Phillips is around in turn 2. All these spins, but no real attrition rate. It's just a lot of small mistakes that make you feel dumb in the head. Clay is eating Mikey alive. That would be the tire compound difference if ever I saw it. This Dooku's a round out of 5. That demotes him to last place. There's the first taste of DRS, and it goes to Clay, but he's not close enough to Mikey to try anything just yet. But maybe into turn 1 or 3. Although turn 1's the best place to do it. No, turn 3 is the best place. I'm contradicting myself, because I don't know how to talk, apparently. Mikey has the better exit, but DRS has something to say about it, and he's, yeah. Clay read my mind. Don't even try into 1 unless you're trying to DNF. Especially not this early. Just get the DRS into 3, keep the car on the racetrack, and try again next lap. Pain. Poor Yoshi, which I'm not fully convinced that's his real name, but it's more believable than Clay Monkey, is catching up to Francis in the Mercedes. Once again, there's the tire compound difference playing a factor, as the top 7 are currently alternating tire compounds. Medium hard, medium hard, medium hard, medium, which does create a natural sort of battle for position between the medium tire runner and the hard tire runner that they're sitting behind. Clay's decided he's not waiting. He has such a run into 1 that he might as well go for it. And Mikey can do little but just accept his fate and try to stay with him. Yoshi is almost close enough but cannot manage enough speed against Francis to make a pass. And Clay is around at 4. Ow. We're good. Just pretend that didn't happen. Almost just rejoined straight into the McLaren. That was nearly very ugly. Yoshi is hot on the heels of Francis, who himself is catching up to Mikey de Jong. The time he lost dealing with Clay, probably feeding him right back into these two, if I had to guess. That makes Yoshi's life way harder, because Francis is gonna hijack some DRS off of the Williams. Maybe not. Oh no, he will. Hey PlayStation, I don't care about Destiny 2. Don't give me your advertisements. I don't play Destiny, I have a life. I don't, but that's beside the point. It's all beside the point. This is a Formula 1 broadcast record. Nothing doing into 3 this time. Anywhere on the racetrack, in fact. Whoa. That was unusual. Francis has fallen off the back of De Jong, allowing Yoshi to continue as planned. There's the first time penalty of the Grand Prix. Those can definitely be a problem here. Turn 1 and 2, turn 7, and the backstretch chicane, you can all very easily create those. High-speed chicanes, they're basically created to give people time penalties. Yoshi has a run on Francis, not enough to try into 1, but certainly enough to try into turn 3 if he feels like it. I don't know why he wouldn't feel like it, he's on the soft tires, he has to do something. He's gonna attempt the outside brake super late, and he finds the Alonso sand trap. Yeah, that was a little bit ambitious, to say the least. And that drags him right back into almost into range of Hazmi. Not quite though. Jurgensmeyer is pushing his battery to try and stay with the Williams despite being on the softer tires. Now Hazmi just has a lot more raw pace, it appears. And the fact that somehow the Williams got DRS there, I don't quite know how that just happened, but that's only making Jurgensmeyer's life harder. Dooku retires in the pit lane, almost getting lapped, seeing no real purpose in continuing, I guess. Or perhaps he just took damage from a spin somewhere I didn't catch, because I'm looking at these potential battles in the front half. They hadn't really been battles necessarily though. It's not been the most exciting Grand Prix thus far. There have been dramatic moments, but there's only been one on-track battle, and that was between Fidel and Dooku, I think. That's obviously since well fizzled out since that was on lap 2 of the race or so. Yoshi almost experienced gravel again. And now we're sort of nearing the point too where the medium tires are going to start to lose pace. But the hards will not have such weaknesses. Somehow no DRS there, I'm not quite sure how not. That's a warning. But Hazmi does have DRS for what little it means from this distance. Clay has DRS on Fabian, but he's also very far away. I think this Grand Prix is just going to more or less be what happens when all the tire strategies coalesce in the second half. Piquet will have to pit before the hard tire runners as he run into difficulties along the way. Yoshi finds himself back in range once more. DRS is activated. He's not too far away. He's not gonna have a chance on this lap, but if he keeps up this pace, he might on the next one. Scarborough gets the second penalty of the Grand Prix. Not his second. That's his first one. Numbers can be challenging, apparently, when you're an idiot. Clay is definitely getting near Fidel for P7. Having to recover from his earlier spin. I think this is pretty symbolic of just how this Grand Prix has gone. Only Dylan Thomas and Scarborough are the only drivers still participating in this Grand Prix who have gained or lost multiple places. Everybody else has either moved one or is exactly where they started. It's not like Australia can't create passes. Turn 13 and turn 3 are very good overtaking spots. It's just been the abnormal pace differential combined with the mistakes drivers keep making just makes it so they don't happen. Or the times that they have happened, they haven't stuck because the driver that made the overtake then immediately made an error. Suddenly now, Al-Hazmi is actually closer to Yoshi than Yoshi is to Francis. I think that might be indicative that the mediums are starting to lose a bit of pace. Hazmi is very much getting close to Yoshi. Never mind. Not anymore. Exactly what I mean. Every time somebody gets close, might see a battle, mistake. Yeah, this is a street circuit, so I guess this is the track that's prone to creating mistakes, but I didn't know it was this bad. How is that still DRS for the Williams? There's no small part of me that's hoping that turn 10-11 claims claims a hapless victim that causes a safety car and stacks everyone up, because I'm here to commentate a motor race at the end of the day. I do like action, and we haven't had a whole lot of that. Call it sadistic, masochistic myself. Call it sadistic if you will, but I need drama. I need something to talk about, or else I'm just kind of sitting here looking at a TV screen with stinging eyes, like, what next? We might have a battle shaping up here. Never mind, Clay is going to the pit lane, Jake Scarborough has retired from the session. Well, that's what I was looking for. It's not turn 11 and 12, but it's still a DNF. This would be out of turn 5, which is actually where we saw more DNFs happen, such as Dylan Thomas's DNF in qualifying, for example. That's the safety car, and everything that Nico Pichet has worked so hard to build up suddenly has just collapsed from under him, because this brings everybody back into the fold, and guess what? Mikey's going to be on the softer tires now, as will be Francis and Al-Hazmi. So we have a Grand Prix now. Virgin sacrifice had to take place, but there's the drama. Would you call that a commentator's curse? I didn't call exactly what happened, but I mean, that was like a literal commentator's curse. That's not even like, oops, I said it and it happened. That's, let this happen, and the god said, very well, it shall be done. Yeah, I think you're out of your mind if you don't pit here, unless your name is Clay or AJ Knickel. Since actually the bottom four already pit, so... I somehow didn't read between the lines there. Yeah, these four don't really need to pit. Ryan Phillips is somewhere in another county at the moment, but... how many positions will Clay gain off this? He's up to P6, so it's basically where he was before pitting, +1. I think it's Jurgensmeyer he's jumped off that. The most fortuitous pit stop timing he could have possibly had. And I suppose if you weren't him, if you're AJ, you might as well pit on the mediums, right? Or not. Like, I mean, I was like, in my head I was thinking he's only gonna lose one place to Ryan Phillips if he pitted again. And then he'd be on a softer set of tires. Ah yes, he only has 2 wheels on his car. Man, what is it, a Daihatsu midget? Anyway. Obviously not in this lap, no duh. Most of the field ain't here yet. So suddenly we have a little bit of interest generated because now all of the tire compounds are flip-flopped. Mikey and Francis hypothetically are in the... Got to the mute button in time, don't worry. Mikey and Francis are hypothetically in the best seats in the house because they're gonna have better tires for the first, like, 10, 11 laps of the stint. Piche, though, is not a human being, and therefore doesn't conform to your basic tire strategy compound doohickey things. Nico's pace is in a separate category and cannot be defined by tire compounds, so... I would be surprised to see him pull away anyway. That's an interesting shot. This is a super panned out view of the turns 3, 4, and 5, and there's just one car. There's 2 Alpines. I think Phillips is... If he gets the sand out of his shoes, he might get there in time to go green on this lap. For that matter, it may not wait for him either. It might just only be waiting for the Alpines, and they will get there in time. Actually, maybe they won't. Well, Phillips certainly won't, but it might go without him. It's not. Yeah, no, it's not, because Luke's there now. But the safety car is in the last turn, so you're gonna have to sit here another lap. Phillips probably ain't complaining. My vocal cords probably aren't either. But either way, we do still have the potentiality for a dramatic finish because of the different compounds on the different cars. Not to mention, Al-Hazmi's not out of the picture either. There's AJ doing the thing I mentioned. Is he watching the stream, or did he actually think that up? Probably just thought it up. Yeah, we have the faster tires on Francis, Mikey, and Al-Hazmi. This has really not helped Yoshi's case by any means, and it might have made things a little bit ever so slightly challenging for Nico. I know, heaven forbid he has to work for a GP win. Unspeakable, but His two toughest competitors are going to be on the better tires here for at least the first half of the stint, if not all of it. So... there's the safety car in the slap, so... that means that there's nowhere to continue from that. There's nothing else that can be said, Riker. That's the point. The safety car is in this lap. As most of the field does the human centipede going down towards turn 11. I think it's turn 11 now, I think. Or would that be 12 because of that kink? I don't know. And I don't really care. They had the 90-degree turn. You know what I'm talking about, I assume. Whenever you're ready, Nico. And he's ready. And the Australian Grand Prix is green once more. And it looks like everybody just got a pretty even match start there. Piquet went about as predictably as you can go. Right as you exit the last turn. The moment you can safely exit and apply the throttle without risk of death, basically. And keep an eye on the different compound battles here, particularly looking at fourth and first, since they'll be on the back foot with their harder tires for most of the stint, I would say. Everything is, perhaps unsurprisingly, pretty spread out as we exit the safety car phase. No DRS basically means no overtaking, generally speaking. Earlier in the race, it's not so the case because, you know, people won't be starting in their official position based on, you know, one lap pace, but we're 17 laps into the GP. Now I'm pretty sure most people are going to be about where they belong on the running order. Ooh, that was a terrifying fit of understeer for the Red Bull driver. Dylan Thomas is there to capitalize, potentially. He's got a better run out of 7. Fidel kicked it into high gear. I think he pressed the battery himself to try and stay ahead of Dylan Thomas. I think Dylan is running some pretty high downforce at the moment too, which is also helping Fidel's case. The DRS is about to be back in play once more, and that means it's party time. With any luck. Well, the party is over early for Clay, as he's now forced down the pit lane after spinning out of the last turn, or into the last turn, whatever the case might be. So that's pretty much sealed his Grand Prix, and he's retiring in that very same pit lane. He made his bed, and oh boy did he sleep in it. Oh, that's a lot of curb! And, well, Dylan Thomas has repeated history. And there's another full safety car for that. Gee, Clay could have stayed in the race and he'd be back in it with that. That's why you don't quit unless your car is destroyed. Well, now what? Do the drivers reckon softs go 10 laps? Actually, we know they do, because AJ took them about that long before, on his own first stint. But at the same time, because of that, AJ doesn't have any left, so he will just take his jump to the front of the queue, get a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car because he did not pit, and is trying to make up places. The game is not having that. Although, considering this game's track record as far as, no one's going on to softs except for Fidel. He's the only one that thinks they go far enough. Even though I'm fairly certain they do. Look at the race director here. It's not going to bring it up, because this game is very well made. If you look at the race director here, when did AJ pit off of his? Lap 10. Which means that softs go 10 laps. We're going to have 9 laps to go in the Grand Prix. So I'm not exactly sure why nobody else did that. Track position is one thing, yeah, but if you're already in the back, which the likes of Fidel, who pit onto them, or like Luke or Jurgensmeyer are now, you may as well have just thrown it into the center and seen what happens. Yeah, for the front cars, I'm not surprised that nobody went in. They were probably just going off of a follow Piché or opposite Piché basis. So, yeah, follow Piché. So, if he pit for soft tires, I have no doubt in my mind that everybody else behind him, by which I just mean Mikey, Francis, and Abdurrahman, would have followed him straight in. Instead, he didn't pit, so they had no reason to, because they'd be bogged down in traffic. With less than 10 to go, that's the last thing you want. But these cars, other than AJ, behind AJ, that were already bogged down in traffic. Yoshi's the only one taking a chance here, because he went on medium tires. He was in the front area there, but he was on hards, and if we got to a DRS phase, he probably would have been eaten whole. But nobody else really took a risk by pitting here, except for him. I feel like what's coming out of my mouth really isn't making a whole lot of sense. Trust me, there's a point to what I'm saying, other than just trying to fill the empty void of a safety car. Like, safety cars in this lap. Yeah, track position matters, but if he never had it to begin with, why go for it? AJ didn't have a fresh set of soft tires, but I'm still confused as to why the likes of poor Yoshi never tried them anyway. Because we know for a fact that they go 10 laps. Piché almost finding some grass while he's attempting to warm his tires. Okay, Piché kind of started to speed up there and then unsped up. That's going to cause problems? Apparently it didn't, really. It's caused problems for Jurgensmeyer. It's being overtaken by Fidel Fabian into turn 1. Oh, Ryan Phillips is finding some grass. His teammate's going to try and sneak through. As if I'm Phillips, I let this go. Phillips is not letting this go. He doesn't have a choice. Fidel Fabian has made his way by. Time for the Red Bull Reserve to make those soft tires work for him. Because I mean, I know in my heart of hearts, they go that far. Yeah, that's exactly what I was just about to say. Tarji, who I know you're a racer, and you're in the race probably on Monday. Keeps his car on the racetrack. Apparently easier said than done at this track, based on what we've seen so far. Poor Yoshi's gonna go for a huge send down the inside of Kanickel, and he gets that stop miraculously. Fidel Fabian's right there, literally on AJ's diffuser, nearly spinning the Alpine driver out in the process, and might have taken wing damage. AJ's pitting. I don't really know what that's from. Did he take damage from something? I kind of want to see that. If he took damage, it wasn't... Oh, he's taking his drive-thru. I'm an idiot. For some reason in my head I was thinking, oh, if we just let that sit, you'll probably get it called off or something. I don't know if that was a legitimate penalty. And then like, no, Breaker, it's a speeding penalty. You can't just let that go away. As I totally missed Luke Allen making a move on Ryan Phillips. I just noticed his tires are dead. A purple Sector 1 for Fidel Fabian. Another position lost for the Red Bull. He's now been taken by Jurgensmeyer. And Fidel's looking for P5 against Boriyoshi. Reserve versus reserve here. As things are shaping up to be. Yoshi himself, though, is also right on the back of Al-Hazmi, who's on much older tires. It's like there's always a bigger fish. We got Al-Hazmi, and then we have Yoshi on the younger tires. And then we have Fidel on tires of the same age, but a softer tire compound. So, in a perfect world, Fidel eats both of the smaller fish, and he puts himself nearly on the podium. But Yoshi getting slipstream off the back of the Williams is not helping Fidel's case in that regard. He needs one factor removed if he's gonna eat both fish. I'm really stretching this fish metaphor a little further than it has to be taken, aren't I? Oh, poor soul. Yeah, have fun focusing. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but everyone else does. Yoshi's getting pretty racy with Al-Hazmi. Might have a battle for fourth with them already before Fidel even becomes a part of the picture. Oh yeah, Al-Hazmi defends low. Yoshi does not care, but he cannot get ahead. Really couldn't even get alongside for that matter. Expert defensive driving from Al-Hazmi. Fidel literally could not be closer to Yoshi. They are basically kissing. I think this is a little too lewd for YouTube. Fidel does not have a run here. If I'm Fidel, I watched that. Watch 2 spins at a track reset. Happy birthday, Fidel! As I was going to say, if I'm Fidel, I just watch what happens between Yoshi and Al-Hazmi and pick up the pieces. What happens is both Williams having an absolute disaster class, and Yoshi getting the worst of it, and Fidel finds himself on the podium, and very distantly so at that, as it's about 4 seconds back to Jurgensmeyer. Wow! Luke Allen is also in a solid spot. He might take 4th away from Jurgensmeyer with any luck. But as his thumbnail titles will tell you, Luke Allen doesn't have much of that. But he does have DRS, which takes some of the luck and skill away. No way! I can't believe this! Basically my thought right now. Ryan Phillips! No! I got real life scared. I actually... That startled me so much, I thought my controller was a steering wheel, apparently. I literally turned my controller to the left like I was correcting that save myself. That's how much that caught me off guard. I tried to save his race car for him. Oh my god, take your medicine, Riker. You have a yeller. It can nickel around in the last turn. Oh my god, okay. Oh, there's the drama! Oh my god, there's the drama! Oh, jeez. Okay, Alan didn't have the best first sector. He's still kind of in with a chance against the Haas driver, though. Meanwhile, I think that was a spin from Al-Hazmi that puts Yoshi into P8. Me scratching my ear with my left hand sort of changed drivers. I bumped my controller into the footstool under me. My footstool has pressed the L2 button. Yoshi with a time penalty. Oh my god, I just realized Fidel's on track for P2. Francis is a time penalty. Oh my god. Slow and steady maybe takes 4th place. Look Allen with a really cumbersome exit from the last turn though. Makes this pass a lot harder to do. About 4/10 back at the DRS, but that's not close enough. Not without pushing the battery at the very least. Is he just line and wait for the last turn? Or is he trying to force Jürgensmeyer into an error? Oh my god, speaking of errors, no! You had everything and now you have nothing! Turn 5 is a cruel mistress that cares not for your morality. It cares only for who dares touch the outside curbing. Actually, both curbs can do the trick. We saw that in qualifying again with Francis. Suddenly, Luke Allen and Jürgensmeyer are both on track for shock podiums instead of Fidel Fabian. Some underdog's gonna come out on top here, really, unless everything goes wrong and Mikey de Jong picks up the pieces. It's not a no. It's not a yes either. Luke Allen is absolutely close enough this time, but he's not pushing the battery while Jürgensmeyer is dumping it. Luke is still not pushing the battery. He does realize if he waits too long, he's gonna get passed by Phillips or Mikey, right? Like, he can't just sit here and ride forever. He's not Jackson Tate. Oh, well, there goes that. Now he pushes the battery? But it's too late for that. You got a time penalty. You can't get third anymore. Oh, might get DNF'd though. Especially when he gets bodied off the track by Phillips. Ryan Phillips, I just realized, can't get a top 3 because he also has a penalty to his own name. So Mikey de Jong has to find a way through him and ahead of Jürgensmeyer to get back onto the podium after his disaster in turn 1. So we can't wait for turn 3 against the Red Bull, but the Red Bull has DRS of his own, so he doesn't get a chance into turn 3. A huge run on the outside of the Red Bull, so this should be a pretty simple move. Yeah, around the outside, has the inside, feeds ahead of the Red Bull, but that's a formality, because he was going to get that spot off a penalty anyway. And now he finds himself almost a second back from the Haas. Incredibly fast turn 7 aside, that's still not close enough. Luke Allen can still get P5 from Ryan Phillips if he passes him through here, but he's not going to get that. He's going to get a DNF. He's not going to get a DNF, but he's going to get nothing. Out of the final turn, just forget it. There's not even a point. That was known the second the lights turned green, basically. Michael Schumacher wins the Australian Grand Prix! We're like in 2004. But Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is going to break his steering wheel, and he's going to grab the final podium spot. Big day for Haas. Well, one half of Haas. Mikey De Jong recovers to P4. Why am I seeing that camera? Why am I seeing that camera? Why am I seeing this camera? There's been murder. That's why I'm seeing this camera. There's been a murder on the front straightaway. And that is the AF1 Australian Grand Prix in the books. Ryan Phillips, driver of the day. I think if I were Fidel Fabian, the second that I saw those two Williams cars get collected in that turn 1 incident, I'd have turned full traction control on. But Jurgensmeyer gets the podium, which is still a bit of a surprise compared to what we usually see. Usually it's just Ferrari versus Williams, so to see a Haas car up there is more than a little bit unusual. So in a race that was basically commanded by time penalties and track curbing, Piquet, Farah, and Jurgensmeyer is your podium, followed by Mikey De Jong, Phillips, Boryoshi, Luke Allen, Abdurrahman Al-Hazmi, AJ Knickel, and Fidel Fabian, despite his DNF from what would be a net P2, still at least gets a singular point as consolation, if nothing else. So for the first time all season, I can confidently say next week is the Brazilian Grand Prix for the season finale, I think? And, well, if I'm wrong, then I'll point and laugh at my stupidity. But at any rate, whatever it is next Friday, goodbye.